Hi, it's Neil here from the China Sourcing Academy. We're at the Global Sources. This is October edition. We're in Hong Kong. I have Isabelle from Pivott88, right?
Yes.
So Pivott88, you're providing a service, but more software as a service.
Exactly, software as a service with
Right.
which we automate the quality process.
Right.
We put them into an Android app that the QC will use
Right.
to basically follow step by step the QC process.
Right.
And the reports and the warnings will be available for the manager or for the customer
Wow.
from a cloud platform.
Okay.
The analytics will be generated also in real time.
Right. So it relies on you having some trustworthy person in the factory in China.
Exactly. It can be whether it is a factory self-inspecting, whether it is with a third-party inspection firm,
Yes.
or some customers have their own QC but using our system.
But would you trust the factory to self-report?
In some cases, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, not with all the factories. I
Right.
don't think it would be suitable, but definitely in some cases.
Because
Yes.
I'm thinking, if I'm a factory owner, I'm thinking, I haven't got time for that sort of thing. I got to make things. I got to focus on 101 things every day.
Yeah.
And then suddenly my client also wants me to update this software.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point in time, there's a conversation that has to take place with
Yeah.
the factory to say it's in your interest, it's the benefit.
Absolutely.
So what do you say to the factory?
Well,
I understand that this works, you don't have to convince the customer,
Yeah.
all right?
Yeah.
But how do you convince a factory to help self-report if they're trusted to do that?
Yeah, well, basically it's very good for the factory because it structures their process. They're also very much aware in that way as to what are the quality criteria for their customer.
Right.
And for them, it ends up to be much cheaper if they can catch up if there's any problem and it's still in the factory so they can rework it rather than being charged back at a later stage in the process and then incur extra expense along the chain that a lot of the time supplier will end up paying for.
Right, so have you got a working version on it, on your tablet?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, let's have a look at this. We need to have a look at this. So the factory can have the tablet, factory owner can have a tablet like this.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're requested by the customer based on how the customer has customized it, or you've worked with the customer to set it up.
Yeah.
And then you give that to the factory, so the factory, you've got to teach the factory to fill in the yellow, the blue and the red every day or something like that. Is that?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So basically the QC can work in Chinese, so it's suitable. It can switch language and the customer can get back to English whenever they're reviewing the report.
Right.
And we have a gate process, so like all the yellow, the QC will not be able to submit before everything is filled out.
Oh.
You can see from everything gray shaded is already pre-filled, so it saves time for the QC.
Yes.
The QC can embed some pictures. So, for example, if we want to add a picture to the process,
of a product. Oh, okay. And then that can go into the report.
it will save.
Oh, I
and
like
then
that.
it's possible to select the color. So I want to highlight that there's a defect over here. So simply write on the picture, adding a comment.
Oh, wow.
And automatically the picture will be embedded there.
Oh, very good.
Available.
And that's easier to talk to people. So it strikes me that your main user would be the third-party auditor.
It can
if
be
it's not the factory. Like
initially,
it would be the third-party auditor.
Yeah.
Then hopefully can transfer that over to the factory. If not, in parallel, teach the factory on the first engagement of the auditor.
Yeah. Or for some stages, for example, at incoming inspection could be the factory for some part of the process and then having a third party for the final inspection, for example. And you can also have customized process, for example, in this one. So for this specific item that so I have this specific drawing and the specific set of questions are specifically for that SKU. So it provides me with a custom report each time for each item.
Oh, very good.
Rather than if I'm inspecting another product, the questions will be different.
I would think that, I think the parties that would be most excited about this would be one, third-party auditors.
Absolutely.
Right.
It saves them a lot of time. Just
Right.
they think
And
about
then-
formatting the photo.
And then they can sort of like be an affiliate to actually sell your product.
Yeah.
Are you using that model in like getting third-party auditors first
Yeah, absolutely.
to help integrate your
Yeah.
software into that value chain?
Yeah. Yes, we do.
Okay, all
Yes,
right.
we
So you find more of your sales come via third-party auditors or by customers direct?
I would say it has a big appeal for the customers direct, but
Right.
more and more it comes from either the third-party
Right.
inspection firms or even from the suppliers wanting to provide visibility to their customer
Right.
as a differentiator.
Okay.
So we see that interestingly more and more.
Right.
It also captures the analytics and would populate dashboards in real time. So
Right.
everything that is captured here, it's available to get trending charts
Wow.
and supplier performance charts.
Wow, very good. So then the buyer can stay back in their own country.
Exactly.
They don't have to, well, you've got to come to China anyway. You've got to visit the factory, whether you like it or not. I think you've got to know where.
Yeah, well, to strengthen the relation rather than
Exactly.
to come like as a firefighting.
Exactly, before the firefighting starts.
Exactly.
So I'm just thinking, okay, so I'm learning about this, and this kind of makes sense now, because originally I'm thinking, if I'm a factory owner, I'm not going to fill out this. And I'm thinking you need a kind of a third party, which is a third party auditor, who is the person that can actually sell it to the customer and say, oh, Mr. Customer, if you use this, this is going to help me in the audit process.
Okay.
And Mr. Factory Owner, work with me here because this will make you more visible to the customer,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So do you have a special arrangement for the third-party auditors in terms of incentives?
Yes, we're building some programs.
Working on that.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Yeah.
I would think about that because make that a real key point of the strategy. I was thinking of that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I know some of my third-party audit friends I spoke to. I know one of them is developing a software so the auditor can go in and just check on the tablet. So that already exists.
Yeah, it's a little more intelligent than that because
Yes.
it will provide a custom report each time for each specific item
Right.
to inspect.
Right.
It will also have a lot of business rules that are embedded. So we've
Right.
seen at the camera, there's also barcode, there's also color checking
Right.
that is done in an objective way. So
Right.
again, our philosophy is to remove the subjectivity from the inspector.
Right. I'm thinking I would push this harder to actually get third-party auditors to even use this for their own system.
Absolutely.
If they're not already, because I know some of them are developing their own customized system so they can track all their staff out in the field.
Yeah.
So this system can be used for that,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Did you think of that as a service for third-party auditors?
Yeah.
Even if
already
it doesn't if at the moment you're talking about creating visibility for the customer, but even it could be of value to third-party auditors in monitoring their own staff in the field.
Absolutely.
So
Because all the data that we captured is timestamp, user stamp, so we
Right.
have a lot of visibility in
Right.
what's going on in the course of
Wow,
the inspection,
okay.
definitely.
So do you have much take-up among third-party auditors yet? Do you have much interest among the third-party auditors?
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's why you're here.
Yeah, so next year or next show I can tell you more about
Have you spoke to next door yet?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, all right. That's great. Okay, so thank you, Isabelle.
My pleasure.
And this is Neil from China Sourcing Academy at the Global Sources Expo with Isabelle of Pivott88. Yes. Thank you. Catch you in the next session. Bye.